Did you send me a picture of you? A
You didn't
young
ask
picture?
me for one.
Check your text messages.
How?
Are you recording? Because this is how this
How
going
we
to go.
gonna check the text messages and we out here and damn. Hey, Scott, what decode are we in right now?
We recording. You can't have Scott. That's why Scott should have came in here and sat down, because this is going to be a problem. I can see that right now.
That man can hear. We all right. Yeah.
The direction said.
You talking about make a right at Emancipation? I'm like, what? Emancipation, 3rd Ward. I should have put on my Mac. NW55.
That's
my color.
You know your color.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're healing. We should, because we're gonna have to talk serious at some point. We're gonna have to talk serious. Anna brother's hungry, so I got to do all this and look like I just ate a fine meal.
Am I invited to the meal?
No, we got business to discuss. There'll be a separate meal for you. Wait a minute. First of all, I'm the guest. I should be getting fed. What's going on here?
I had some little snacks in there, but you was a little late, so we got to get this moving.
Because I didn't know I was coming to Kansas. Hey, bro.
No.
Are we in Oklahoma? Don't you feel like you're in Norman?
First of all, when did I send you the address? On Monday. I said, for planning purposes.
Bro.
Welcome to Shift Chats, conversations with Stan Norfleet. Welcome to Shift Chats. My guest today is Mr. Stan Norfleet.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. By the way, can we discuss this? What do I call her? Calandria? What do I call you during this deal?
Monique.
Okay, Monique. That's the only
Claire.
I know.
Yeah, Monique.
Okay, Monique. That's what we call you.
Okay, there's a conversation right there. Because you know me by...
Monique.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't know Clarendria.
I haven't met that woman.
You don't know
When
her.
that popped up, I was like, who? And then I was like, oh, okay, I get it. There's like a duality to your personalities. I get it. Okay, I'm a Gemini. I'm a June Gemini at that. So I totally understand.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going by Monique today. That's fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah. Appreciate you having me.
All right.
It's a very nice setup. Very comfortable.
Thank
very
you.
professional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
What you want to know?
Where you from? What you do? All the goodness.
Oh my goodness. So originally Atlanta, Southwest side. What up, SWATs? Go to the airport, make a left. Grady baby 81, and left Atlanta, go through Alabama, but ultimately settled in Charlotte. So Charlotte is hometown. Mm-hmm. And after graduating in Charlotte, went up to the University of Virginia, played some football, standout athlete. Yeah. Academic scholarships, everything from Harvard to West Point to Tennessee.
Okay.
I mean, I could have gone almost anywhere. God bless me in that capacity. My father's from the state of Virginia, and I lost him when he was taken from us when I was 16.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And so he is a native of the Tidewater area of Virginia. So I chose UVA, a public Ivy, and a top 25 program in football when I chose to go there. So we'll be back at some point, God willing. Not great right now.
It's not great right now.
So you know me from hosting a sports talk show. Name of the show is Next Up. Myself and my radio partner, Chris Gordy.
Yes.
Sportstalk790, iHeart Family and Networks here in Houston. And we talk all things Houston sports and what's going on nationally as long as it's relevant. You know what I mean? So that's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
Is that
it.
enough? Did I miss something?
You did not.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, I did leave out something.
Oh, shoot.
Shout out to 3rd Ward, the Sauce U. I went to grad school at Texas Southern. That's what brought me to Houston in 2003.
Right.
My bad. Dr. Ward, y'all forgive me over there. Kevin Granger's the athletic director. Forgive me. My bad. It's not personal. I just forgot about that part. I got thinking about Virginia and
your dad and all that.
Yeah, so TSU. Okay. That's why I came out here in 03. I had never lived nor worked west of the Mississippi.
Right.
Prior to getting here in 03. So I fell in love with Houston. I was here 03 to 05. Came back.
I was going to say you left and then.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I left in 05. Came back circa 2017. Left again around 2019-ish. And now I'm back. February of 23.
Okay.
Best city in America.
You love it.
Whew. Houston, me and my brody was talking about, shout out to my homie Scott Carter. We were just talking about this on the drive down. There's only one Houston in the world. This thing here, special.
Okay, let's talk about it.
All right,
what's so special about Houston?
Your eyes work just like mine do.
Because Houston done got you in some trouble sometime.
I think Houston is what you allow it to be. No different than I've lived in Atlanta. I've lived and worked, obviously, DC, Charlotte. Where else have I been? DC, Charlotte, Atlanta, Dallas.
Okay.
I mean, I've worked in some major cities. And like anything else, in different seasons of life, you have to have different governors on the engine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think at this point, 43 years old, it's about picking and choosing your spots and surrounding yourself with the right infrastructure and the right people. And God has blessed me with that. I'm very rich in people.
Yes, we are very rich in people.
Now, what you mean by that? It sounds like you had a certain innuendo around Houston.
Absolutely not.
So what does Houston mean to you?
Because you kind of just said you like. First of all, you on Shift Chats. I'm interviewing. We're not finna fall out here
We're
today.
not falling out.
We're not.
having a conversation.
So
is it unfair? Is it unjustly for me to say? What does Houston mean to you?
because I know you, and this will turn into.
Turn to what? Us talking about Houston.
I want to know.
Okay.
What do you? Because you kind of said you love Houston. You
love
this
Houston.
is. Tell me why you love Houston.
Several different reasons. I think first off, my introduction to the city of Houston in 03, the summer of 03, the people. You know, it's one of the most diverse markets in the country. We know that. And it's a big city, but it still has elements of a smaller southern town.
Yep.
Yeah. So from everything from the hospitality to in terms of just the day-to-day, the interaction with people, it's very rare that you meet somebody in Houston that's just a bleep hole. You know what I mean? Like people legitimately, genuinely trying to see, are you okay? What's going on? That spills over into the corporate life, most certainly. However you worship and wherever you worship, you're going to get that as well. The best food in America, or arguably the best food in America. I put Houston up there with anybody.
Okay.
Vegas, Chicago, New York is overrated. Miami is overrated from a culinary standpoint.
Right.
I would say also like the sports scene. In sports media, Houston is a big market. It's market number 4 because of the eyes and the ears. But when you actually drill down to like how I get compensated from a rating standpoint, Houston is not considered a premier sports property or a sports market. You got other markets like obviously Los Angeles, Chicago, New York. But then you got some smaller markets that don't make sense, like Boston or Cleveland is a great sports town.
Okay.
They just take so much pride because that's all they have is their sports. Pittsburgh, I would put in that group as well. So Houston has an affinity for sports. And we think about like Andre Johnson getting inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame last week. There's just a connectivity when the team is rolling. The Astros, I can go into that for days. When, James Harden's Rockets, I was working for the Rockets when they drafted Yao Ming and made the trade for Tracy McGrady. When Tracy signed here, it was a thing. Toyota Center was brand new. So it was a whole vibe around that. Houston takes a lot of pride in their sports, and I love that about it too.
Okay.
And then I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the nightlife, social. Some of the most beautiful women in the world come through Houston at some point. Right. So if you into that type of thing, it's readily available however you want to move. And I appreciate it for such. But again, it's all about putting that governor on, right? You got to be mindful of how you're moving and what circles. And so we can get into all that. Yeah. But those are the reasons why I love Houston. Yeah.
I would say I have the same sentiments, not the sports side, but just being able to get involved, be in some activity, go to the nightlife, the food.
For sure.
The food.
Culture.
The food.
Yeah, the food's great. Like it's restaurant week right now, restaurant month. Oh man, listen, we popping up on something different couple times a week.
Yes.
Also the geography. And I shouldn't excuse that. Like to be able to get to either coast in 2.5, 3 hours, that part is cool. Yeah. And so, Houston, you get the influx from the West Coast, but you also get the East Coasters that like, I'm over it. Right. I want to get to somewhere that I can make my money go to local economy. So again, I can go on and on and on, but you understand what I'm saying about Houston. Yeah. Okay.
I asked you to send a picture.
Yeah.
Of younger you.
How much younger?
So, we went back and forth about all of that.
All right, less great.
So, I have to say, you sent a picture, and I believe you were a freshman.
Freshman in college.
18.
Just turned 18.
Tell me what you would tell freshman college 18-year-old Stan Norfleet.
Fully commit yourself to the dream. At that time, he was playing in pro football. So do all of the things and then some. If I had to do it again, I would drink more water, sleep more, stretch more. I would also say from an academic standpoint, I was a good student, but I would say like the network. I would get out of my cultural comfort zone to make sure that I would fraternize with other groups,
Right.
Especially in a community that is, with the academic prowess and reputation of a University of Virginia,
Right.
where I went to undergrad. But even in grad school at TSU, like I was at TSU essentially for 1 year and to do the grad program for speech communications. And I don't keep in touch with any of those people
Right.
from the program. Some of the guys that I played with my 5th year, I still talk to, just being back in the city of Houston.
Right.
I would also say stay broke as long as you can. When you're in this industry from a player standpoint, the profile says when you get $2, you're supposed to let everybody know you got $2.
Oh, no.
So you go get the car, you go get the watch, you go get, you go take the trips, you go
Right.
get the baddie that costs X, Y, and Z to maintenance. Like, stay broke as long as you can and just stack up dough.
Right.
Because what they don't tell you is, what if the school doesn't, or whoever, right? What if the school doesn't cover that medical bill?
Right.
What if there's a recession? What if there's a worldwide pandemic
Right.
and nobody can dribble, catch, throw, nothing? Right? What are we
Yeah.
living off of?
Yeah.
Right? What if she gets pregnant and you're 19 and now there's got to be a wedding and a
Right.
ring and okay, well, how about let me go get this triplex and I'm going to use an FHA loan and I'm going to live in this one and I'm going to round out them other two. So y'all go get the SUV. I'm going to go get this triplex and go get
Right.
this deed.
Yeah.
I would do more financial literacy. I would seek it out. I didn't know what FICO and a balance sheet was until I was 20, 21 years old.
Okay.
So I would utilize more of those resources. And lastly, I would say, find wifey then. It's
I've heard so
hard-
many people say that to
Find wifey
when you
then.
speak to the younger person.
It's harder later because there's a inherent trust when you're younger because you don't know better.
Yep.
There's also something to be said for we built whatever this is together. And there's just a level of trust and transparency.
Right.
And that's real. And so, yeah, those are just a couple things come up
Okay.
top.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, in some of my research
Oh, gosh.
for this conversation,
Yeah.
I saw something that you had posted that said single, saved, and serious.
Why does everybody refer back to that? I get asked about that more than I do sports.
Or sex status and success.
Yeah.
Which one would you like to share a
Wherever
little
you
bit?
want to go. So to add context before you go,
Okay.
those similar to what we're doing now, not quite this intricate, but some friends of mine back in Charlotte, they have a group and it is a faith-based Christian initiative.
Okay.
And professionals and entrepreneurs from all walks, we get in there and we chop it up about real life scenarios as it pertains to personal lives, dating, marriage, all of those things.
Yeah.
All of the taboo stuff. So that's the context behind those two. Go ahead.
So I a couple things with that. When I saw that, I was like, okay, this will be interesting because when I looked on your Instagram, you have Psalm 46:10.
My favorite scripture.
That's my favorite scripture.
Didn't know that.
What the hat say?
Am I missing it?
Right there.
Oh, be still and know, for sure. Be still and know that I am.
I got shirts, I got blanket. Like that is my.
That's it.
So tell me about that.
So Psalm 46:10 is like, I'm connected to the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul is writing in Philippians to the people in Philippi, and he's incarcerated while he's writing these letters, and he's talking about conduct and, what the Lord wishes for us and how we should behave and all of these things, right? And I'm not going to Bible thump. I'm just giving a little context. Well, in Philippians, the Apostle Paul says, I've learned to be content in any circumstance.
Right.
He says, I've had money, I've not had it. He said, I've been the guy, I've been a nobody, I've been free, I've been incarcerated.
Right.
And he essentially says, I count it on joy because I know whose I am in spite of the circumstance that currently presents itself.
Absolutely.
What he was saying, and I think to put it in an abbreviated version, be still and know who is God. God is here with us all times, regardless of circumstance.
Absolutely.
And I cling to that because I wouldn't be here, iHeart or no iHeart, without that. So I love that. It's one of my very favorites.
That is my favorite.
Why is it your favorite? What does it mean to you?
For all the things you said, and just because in some of the journey in my life, it's been about having to just be still, right? To pick up on what's really happening, what's really going on, right? And what do I need to do for myself, right? To stay in whatever it is that's going on. So that has been on this journey, like going through divorce in 2014 and transitioning, making the decision to come here. When I get to ask that question all the time, people are like, well, why'd you move here? And I'm like, it's spirit-led. And they're like, the airplane? And I'm like, no.
Stop it, people.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my Lord.
And I'm like, and so once I got here, I found myself, it was August, almost 2 years ago, sitting at an Airbnb, because we were in the Airbnb before we closed on the house. And I was sitting and I was like, okay, Lord, now that you said it's okay to come here, what we doing? So I really had to continue to just be still and like listen for what's next. What am I doing? Making connections, getting out, putting myself in a city of thousands of people.
For sure.
I mean, we know Houston is ginormous.
It is.
But putting myself out there and starting anew, because I felt like in Wisconsin, where I came from, I was stalled. Like I didn't feel like I had connected with people that could see what I was trying to do, the direction I was trying to grow.
Yeah, been there.
And all of that. So,
my broadcaster career began in Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay.
And we'll get back to that. That was a whole faith initiative.
Yeah.
That was so it's interesting what we just went through, right? So when you hear be still and know, you focus on the be still. I focus on the and know. So we can read the same thing.
Yes.
And based on our perspective and what we've encountered in life, you can extract what is relevant for you out of that space. Now, don't get it twisted. I've had to be still too. Definitely, you got to understand when you're in the industry, or if you are a successful person, whatever that means, whether you have means or not, you can still be successful. I teach the young people that I mentor, success is about you. You're in the battle with you. Don't let other people define just because you don't. We
literally just had that conversation. But go ahead.
What's this thing I love? I see it when I pull up over there at the Post Oak Hotel. That Rolls Royce Spectre. I love this thing, right? But just because you don't have one doesn't mean you don't matter.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That you're not worthy of.
Correct. I'm not very ostentatious. You know what I mean? I don't have a ton of stuff. And if you do and you're into the stuff, then God bless you. Do your deal. It just doesn't move me. Right. I'm comfortable with who Stan is as a man, and I'm growing. And I've made all the mistakes that we can talk about, and I'm sure we will. I've made all the mistakes. You understand? But I know whose I am. And it's just me and him. Yeah. And I don't get caught up. I've lost women that I love, partners that I love, family members. Right. I've been fired. I've walked away from jobs. I mean, I've had money. I've been broke. I'm talking about broke. Yeah. As a grown man, I used to feel embarrassed about the journey. Okay. And the Father said to me in spirit, why would I bless you with a platform if you're not going to honor me? Yeah. The more embarrassed you are to share, because your embarrassment stand, if you get over that, we don't know how many thousands and millions of people this podcast can impact. So if you can put your ego aside and focus on getting the message, the journey, and even in sport, that's what I do. Like when people tune into my show, yes, they're coming to be entertained as it pertains to Texans, Astros, Rockets, UT, and all that. But I promised God about 13 years ago when he gave me this platform, like, as long as I use it to weave in his messages and principles, he'll continue to elevate me. So when I got fired in Atlanta and they told me I'd never work again, and I was off the air for 18 months.
Okay.
And my partner out there, Sky, my man, he knows, like when I'm unloading trucks for the grocery store overnight, stocking shelves, ripping out HVAC, construction, clerical, working in a funeral home, actually touching the deceased and having to do those things. And I get it. It's a respectable profession, but these are things that people normally frown upon.
Yeah.
Especially when you sitting here with all this education and all them famous people in my phone and all of that. When you're on your grind and you're focused on him, he gonna take you through there.
Yeah.
So I choose to the same God that was with me when it was down, is the same God that can elevate me, and no man can take that from me.
Right.
I cling to that.
I appreciate you sharing that. And I feel like that's such an important piece to share. And that's what Shift Chats is about, because I want people to understand that it can look cute on the outside, but when you really get down into the nitty gritty of like the experiences that we've had, the journeys that we've been on, that's what I want people to understand. Like we got to go through some stuff.
You have to. So I'm gonna bookmark that.
Okay.
And I'm going to leverage the conversation into that's what's beautiful about marriage. I've never been married.
Okay.
I aspire to be married, but I'm not going to do it just to do it.
Right.
There's going to have to be some equally yokedness going on around here. We're going to have to, you ain't going to see everything eye to eye.
Right.
But there's going to have to be a certain temperature where how we engage one another, move forward. Now, so when we're talking about relationships among my friend group, I think it's important to point out, like, just because you're a Christian and just because you walk with him, that doesn't mean that the perfect person is going to show up.
Right.
We all are carrying trauma, baggage, habits, inconsistencies. I mean, it's just misguidedness. I mean, you can add it all up. Like we've all been there. So I can't judge you if I truly understand.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with social. Social takes highlights of people's lives, or the lives they want you to believe are authentic. I can't marry that.
Right.
I got to marry the real person.
Yeah.
And I come back to say, when I bookmark that point you were making, a relationship is about faith. If a woman is submitting to me or committing to a union with me, it's not staying the flesh and blood man. I hope that our Father and her are on the same page, and it's what I represent and what I'm trying to get done within the confines of that structure. Point being is, all of this that we own, all of this stuff is about overcoming adversity and faith.
Absolutely.
So anyway, you didn't ask for all that, but that's where I go.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
I love it. I appreciate it. And to one of the points that you made, because you brought up submission. So talk a little bit about, because that's such a sticky topic.
Why?
So from my perspective, in conversations I've had in my friend groups.
Friend groups,
Right.
We have mutual friends, by the way, some of them. So I can understand. I can imagine how this conversation goes. Okay, go ahead.
So, people look at the word submission, and I think really to the point of everything that you're saying, like it really isn't about, people have to take the humanness out of it and put the God in it.
For sure.
Right. And so then when I think about submission, I think about, one, I say, what am I submitting to? Right. Because if you're guiding me and leading me, okay, I can receive some of the submission, but I'm not going to submit and then you take advantage of who I am. But then that goes to who we're, connected with. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is, and again, saying this, has never been married, but I've had several long-lasting relationships. There is a great responsibility that God grants us as men to lead our relationships. And in that responsibility, you are correct that there are some, unfortunately, that take advantage of that. As I've gotten older and more experienced, I had the same heart in my 20s that I do in my 40s.
Yeah.
But the timing, the tact, the tone was very different. When you find meaning to come across someone, that understands, again, you're not submitting to me. Submission is just another word, it's another form, I should say, of saying like respect. it's a respect not just for me, the individual.
Right.
It's a respect for the union where we're trying to go. And I offer you, young lady, that same respect.
Right.
We can submit unto one another. But now the Bible is also very clear. It asks woman to respect me above all else. It asks me to love you above all else. So I think that some of that can get into the semantics, but when you really want to dig deeper there, it can really be a blueprint for some really cool, some really profitable, long-lasting relationships.
Right.
For those that choose to make themselves vulnerable and receive that.
Right. So what do you think about, or what are some of the challenges that you feel like you've experienced in that?
Oh my goodness. Trying to be respectful of the time. I think that we just, we live in a very selfish society. We live with gratification above all else. Where we come from as a people of color, and certainly as black people in this country, we come from togetherness.
Yeah.
For survival. We come from a level of spirituality to the highest. Whatever you choose to call him or them, I call him Christ.
Right.
So I'm a rock with Christ, right? But you cannot overcome what we've overcome without each other and without belief and submission to a higher being, right? The Creator. Selfishness today, and I can't tell you, I do believe it's a remnant of slavery. But I also believe like it's a challenge because, and I can only speak to my personal situation.
Right.
When I go up there for 2 hours on the air and you hear me on Sports Talk 790, it's not just those 2 hours. There's 2 hours of research for every 1 hour of on-air activity. This isn't, shout out to the radio, to the music DJs out there. When you play Kendrick Lamar, Kendrick Lamar is the talent. I don't get Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for 2 hours a day, and it's on me, and you have to engage and do the thing. So it takes a considerable amount of work in preparation.
Yeah.
When I get off the air, I have production meetings. When we're done with the production meetings, I have sales meetings because we got to have sponsors and advertisers. When I'm done with that, I got to be at Toyota Center because they're going to have shoot around here in a little bit.
Right.
When you're at Toyota Center, you got to watch the game. I'm on social media. After the game, I got to go interview Ime Udoka. When I'm done with Ime Udoka, I got to listen to the post game. Maybe I have to host the post game.
Right.
Oh, and I got to get ready for tomorrow morning show, and that's before I ain't checked nobody's homework. I ain't told nobody good night. I probably had something decent to eat. Time.
I love, let me just have you take a breath because I love you breaking that down. And we literally
Y'all just got to talk about this? So you know it's God. That's how this works. Go ahead.
Listen. I know he is here. Okay, let me focus. Because we really were just talking about everything that you just described. And I love the way that you broke that down because I don't think people get that. Like all they see is Stan on
10 a.m. Stan gonna say some crazy-ish.
Exactly.
Like, that's all they see.
Like it's a whole production and process behind.
I never go to bed at the same time. My every day is different.
Okay.
I'm on the phone with coaches, GM, current players, former players, agents. I'm acquiring information. Some people say, Stan, you're in the sports business. No, I'm in the interesting and information business.
Right.
And that is what I offer to the people and why I've been successful, thank God, in all of the various markets that I've worked in. And it's a time commitment. So as I'm entertaining a woman, it's critical that she understand. If you're looking for that date on Friday night and every other Friday night, we're going to Said Restaurant and we're going to the Kevin Hart Show and we're going to Usher's coming to Toyota Center. We can make some of that, but some of that I can't make.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving for me involves watching the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm typically in the stadium.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a different lifestyle, no different than a woman dating a soldier, a police officer, a surgeon.
Oh, no.
So my line of work outside of the selfishness in our society can make it even more of a challenge.
Right.
Last part. And when you rocking with him, there are a lot of women that say, we hear it, I'm looking for a God-fearing man. No, you're looking for a man that agrees with you. You're looking for a man that elevates you. You're looking for a man that adores and praises you.
Right.
But if you look at the order of what he says, the word says, woman, you were created, you were crafted. The word says in Genesis 3, you were formed to help him.
Right.
And in helping him, he'll love on you and you get all the things.
Yeah.
A man cannot give a woman the things she wants until he gets the things that he needs.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Well, and I agree.
Uh-oh. I know you well enough to know, but.
However,
yeah.
I won't say buts.
Comma.
No. So, no, because I love your point. And I also think about it takes a different type of maturity, a level of maturity, one, to even speak that, right? But then to bring it to life. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we have, and again, it goes back to what you said about being equally yoked, right? Because you have to know what you're looking for specifically. She has to know what she's looking for. And then you bring it together.
Oh, this is beautiful. Yo, you know what's crazy?
You didn't let me finish
No, go
my
ahead.
point.
I thought you took a breath. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Because I was
finish.
sure. No, I forgot what I was about to say. Go ahead. I'll let you go and then I'm going to bring my point back.
So, having this conversation with a young lady once, and she's like, well, Stan, my granddaddy would have done it this way. I said, well, go ask your granddaddy what he would have done at 43 and not 63. He was a different man.
Yeah.
Just like I desire a Proverbs 31 virtuous woman, but she's not going to be completely virtuous upon meeting her.
Right.
She's going to have some rough edges along the way. So at some point, we all have to have a little bit of grace and patience working through the refinement.
Right.
That was it. That's all I had.
Yeah. And having the communication, right? To be able to.
Big facts. Big facts. So you were asking me about Carolina, the single, saved, and all the things.
Yes.
Are we in that space? Because we started there, and then you and I, we go
this
off.
This is good.
Into
We listen. This is conversations on. We having a conversation.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I get y'all know this is my thing. I'm in my space now. As a single woman living in Houston, for those that are, I don't know your personal situation, but for those that are single, moving around Houston, Christian women, what's the energy in Houston? Eligible bachelors?
I think that it is. What? How do the people?
Do we curse
say?
on this podcast?
We
men out here full of bleep. I'm gonna say bleep. That's why I say on my show.
It's pee in the pool.
Pee in the
and
pool.
Poop.
Is pee and poop in the pool?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Help me.
You asked about the date.
Oh, the dating pool.
Yeah. There's pee and poop in there.
I hear that the baddies on Graham and TikTok, they winning in Houston is what I was told. And the dancers, and they winning?
Listen, I don't know nothing about them because I'm not that.
So, why do you think that is? Your friend group. Let's not make it personal. When this conversation comes up around the friend group, why is it poop? What makes men in Houston the pool poop?
So there are a couple of different things. And I think the biggest thing is to your point of what you were just talking about. Like people just aren't ready. You know, people will present as if they're ready.
Ready for marriage?
Ready for whatever.
Okay.
A serious conversation, planning a date. So one of the things I think about when we talk about friend group, a lot of people that they're encountering aren't able to do simple things like plan a date.
Interesting.
Like
what does that mean?
Be consistent.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I could get into the weeds. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Plan a date. Be consistent. Okay.
Communicate. Excuse me, guys. Sorry to interrupt the episode. However, I wanted to make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and share to my YouTube channel. I'm building this thing from scratch. It's like my new baby. So I need y'all to like, subscribe, and share. The little red button down there. Go ahead. Like, subscribe, and share. Okay, back to the episode. And to a certain extent, it can't always be about you, right? It has to be about us, right? I get what you're saying, the build and all of that. But there has to be some mutual understanding,
sure.
That's
we
going
both
on.
want something out of this.
Yeah. And I don't think people are honest. People are, still in grown ages playing games. And it's like, when do we stop that? And where is that group? Because I'm trying to put that group together. Because I have a lot of professional, well-to-do friends, that have it going on.
But
have worked on themselves, then did they healing and talk to the Lord and all the things, but haven't been able to connect with someone that's, like you're saying, wanting to go on the journey, because it's going to be a process. It's not
for sure,
going to be peaches and cream and fluff and everything.
There's so much there. Because in my friend group, there are a lot of dynamic brothers, a lot of brothers that are doing big things. And I don't mean just professionally.
Right.
I know a lot of men that have like great hearts, and they legitimately have an appetite for being the servant leaders that Christ has called us to be.
But have they dealt with their trauma, Stan?
Some of them have dealt with it in the ways they know. Think about it.
Then what do we do? Let's talk about it.
There is a healing process. Let me get this last one out. And I forget the song. Lil Wayne has a lyric. It's older now. He says, "Why give a woman my heart when she'd rather have a bag?" Women, and not holistically, but the experiences in my friend group, they don't celebrate the honesty. They don't celebrate the transparency. They don't celebrate the work ethic and what it took to get this dollar.
Right.
They celebrate, he took me to Usher, look where we sitting at the game, we at Mastro's, put it on social. You celebrate the tangible. When do you celebrate the man?
Right.
I just had this conversation with a young lady, and I was very clear. I said, you understand, we spend 90% of our time talking about your world.
Yeah.
There's no understanding or appreciation for what I too bring to this table. Now, we understand as men.
Yeah.
You're going to have to give for your woman. That's just how you wired. That's it. So you do provide a little bit of leeway and latitude there.
Right.
But some of this is madness. What do the sisters celebrate? So the fellas go, look, man, I got burned in that one. I can't stand that one. So if she's going to be at me for the dough, if she's going to, use me as a come up in a variety of different ways, if she's going to use me, some of the fellas are saying, I'm going to use her.
Okay.
I'm going to be selfish because she's being selfish.
Oh, wow. Okay. I get it. So how do we fix it?
I only know one way. And it's the same way I think you would say. Christ. That's it. Leaning on our own understanding is what got us here.
Right.
So the only way we can get out of this is by trusting in something higher than ourselves.
Yeah.
But most of us are not going to do that because it's hard.
Yeah. Well, I think the leaning on the Christ and also the communication, right?
Trust.
I always want to leave the people, give them something to, so when we talk about communicating, right, that's a huge thing.
Communicating and talking are two different things.
Yes.
The lady say he doesn't talk. That doesn't mean he's not communicating.
Right.
He's giving you some signals.
Oh yeah, it's another language. It's different languages, right? This ain't even to do with the love languages. This is different languages, and that's the whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Good, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I read a good book many years ago. It was men are like waffles, women are like spaghetti.
Yeah, right.
That's
I never heard of it. Okay.
So it's two Christian sociologists, married couple, and they wrote this book about how men and women think and process on a day-to-day.
Oh, yeah.
Example, woman calls me while I'm at the job. You thinking about me? The real answer?
No, I'm at work.
I'm at the gym. You call me. Babe, have you planned something? It's Friday. What are we doing? Bill Bellamy's in town. Are you taking us? I mean, maybe, but right now, I'm trying to get these last 2 sets in.
Right.
I'm trying to get this cardio in. A woman. Sweet Pea, how was your day? Can't believe it. Pressure at work. Proposal due. Can't stand her wearing that red dress. She knew I was going to wear that red dress. Speaking of which, am I fat? You don't like the way I look at this? Oh, that membership. We were supposed to do something with it at 24 Hour Fitness. Are you going to do something with that? Speaking of doing something, I know you were looking at the girl with that red leggings on when we was out there. It's like a pot of spaghetti.
Yeah.
The news are, and as men,
I
it's
love
like
that analogy.
You're trying to jump. When do I?
Yeah.
Emotional. So that's the context of the book. I
it.
think it's real. So it's how do you get two people?
So what was some resolution in the book? What did they offer?
Simplify. Right, like
listen,
and not listen with the intent to talk. Like I'm a debater.
Right. Yeah.
Some people are in a conversation and they're thinking the whole time,
Right.
what am I going to say next? Listen to try and fully understand
yes.
the context.
Yep.
And when you got emotions in it.
Yep.
See, when I'm ready to fire off at you, I'm not really listening to, yeah, I might have messed up or you might have messed up. But if I'm not really protecting or preserving
Right.
the platform that you're choosing to introduce the conversation, then we wasting each other's time.
Right.
Hard to do.
Yeah.
Human emotions. Counseling, I presume you're big on.
I mean, I am a therapist.
This is what I'm saying. So I think that's important to have a neutral party. I think also, I'm going to give you this. This is one of my gems. I'm going to give this to the people. So I believe in this thing called, it's a concept that I don't even know where I got it from. Sunday under the covers.
Okay.
One Sunday out of the month, couple,
Yep.
stay in bed as long as you can.
Okay.
Maybe it's bed, maybe it's couch. Maybe you rotate.
Right.
Obviously, take a break.
Yeah.
Restroom, shower, well, even shower, depending on how you want to get it. Cool, right? The point is you do as much together on that Sunday. Worship together, you dine together. We're doing everything together. And primarily, there's a level of intimacy.
Yeah.
All of us have done the pillow talk thing. There can be, if we allow it, a level of transparency.
Right.
When you're with your person and you laying it down and y'all just cooling and it's games in the bed and watching movies and whatever it is. Sunday under the covers.
Okay.
It's just one of those things for me that has been. So if y'all call me on a Sunday and I don't answer, you know what time it is.
He under the cover with somebody, y'all.
I'm just messing. Yo. What else we got? So healing. How we gonna do it? We said spiritual. We said counseling.
Yeah.
Trust. Faith.
I had a point that I wanted to make.
Go ahead.
On what you just said.
Under the covers.
You keep talking and making me forget what I'm about to say, friend.
All them damn cards and you ain't.
I didn't even get to none of the cards.
All right, I'm a hush. Go
ahead. I had a good point that I was gonna make to what you just said about under the covers.
Do as much as possible together.
Oh man.
Shower, games. And it's like, it's put the phone down type of thing. Like, don't worry about the phones. Cut the phones off. It's not social. It's me and you. The most beautiful thing about COVID, it exposed everybody's relationship for what it really is.
Absolutely.
Including me.
Yeah.
I moved to Washington to marry a woman.
I got out of a relationship
I did
after
too.
COVID.
I did too. I couldn't do it. And she was on her thing. She was a bad girl when it comes to like successful, attractive, love Christ, all the things. Wasn't ready for me.
Yeah.
Him, like him, whoever him is.
You a lot, Stan.
Of course. Would you want a man that was less? I'm saying figuratively.
Not. No.
Would you want to?
Absolutely not.
Who wants to deal with a man? And I'm asking the ladies, like, oh girl, he predictable.
Yeah.
I can control him. He not gonna retaliate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to manipulate.
Right.
He gonna go with the flow. You'll deal with that dude for a while because it makes you feel better.
Right.
But you ain't really trying to be with that dude.
Yeah.
From what they say.
Right.
Did you remember yet?
I didn't.
All right. Go to your card.
Dang, it was going to be good too because it was took.
It'll come back?
It's going to come back. So I have a couple questions that I want to ask. Let me get to my... Whoo, child, this is...
I got time today.
Ran out of time.
I got time. I don't know what you got time, but I got time today. What we doing?
Okay, so we did spiritual. We did professional. What else did we do?
Spiritual, professional, personal, the relationship.
We talked about there. So have you gone to counseling before?
I have before, yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like it helped you?
It did.
Was that your heartbreak?
It was one of them.
Okay.
It was... It wasn't that I had the best counselor ever. It was I respected the opportunity that if somebody was there for me to just get it out.
Okay.
So I got homeboys, right? My friend group. And some of my friend group are females. And there are certain things that you just can't tell the people closest to you, or you feel like you can't share with the people closest to you.
Right.
Because maybe they're taboo, maybe they make you feel some type of way. You know what their reaction is going to be.
Right.
To have a mutual, or I shouldn't say mutual, to have an unbiased third party that I can just get it out. Was rewarding.
Okay. Yeah. And would you do it again?
For sure.
Okay. And you feel like it helped you.
I do.
Okay. You feel like you have some tools that you can use in the future. Because a lot of times when people go through heartbreak, they think it's the end. Like, oh, I'm never going to be okay.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I just, in the moment, I embraced how uncomfortable it was. So I'm an all or nothing type of guy. I'm like that with my work.
Okay.
When I'm on the air, I'm giving the people of Houston and whoever's listening via the iHeart free app all over the world, I'm giving them everything I have in that moment.
Right.
My relationships are the same way. I said to the most recent girlfriend I had, if we got married tomorrow, there's nothing else I can give you. You're being treated as her right now.
Okay.
And for her, that's crazy. Like, what do you mean? I said, so clearly that means you're withholding a level from me because you think that the ceremony somehow elevates
changes
how we're supposed to revere one another. And I was like, that's wild to me. So I'm an all or nothing type of guy. And that can be perceived as a lot for the person that it's not meant for.
Right. Very true. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. One piece of wisdom or mantra that you live by and want to share with the shifters. You know, my audience, we call them shifters.
Piece of advice to live by. I mean, I've been hit with so many gems over the years. What frame of reference? Financial, educationally, personally? Oh my gosh.
It could be spiritual. It could be, you know, on your, I mean, I feel like you've done a great job of sharing like your journey in like work and losing a job and all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think for me, authenticity means a lot. Now, even in the gospel, it says, be as wise as a serpent, yet as innocent as a dove.
Yes.
It means there's still politics in everything that we do on this earth, right? This is just the nature. I've lived in other countries. Everybody's in their language and respective cultures.
Right.
The politics are in play.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it means be wise in how you navigate that space while still having an affinity for the Lord. Within that, professionally, I have gotten to where I have gotten to by just being genuine me.
Okay.
Right? I don't have 14 years in the NFL with, $100 million in the bank. You know, I mentioned a friend of mine, Andre Johnson, like, I'm not Dre. At the same time, I played more than a lot of people.
Right.
But I just think, like, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I believe. And the gospel is also clear on this point. As I say, I'm not going to Bible thump. He says, your gift will make way for you.
Yes, it will.
And put you before great men. Translation, be honest with self. Be true to yourself.
Yes.
And if yourself is in alignment with him, nothing but positivity is eventually going to happen.
Absolutely.
That's what I got for the game.
And we have to be patient with the because he has the plan. We just working it and walking through.
Are you there? Wherever you thought there would be when you set out this journey, are you there?
Because I am intentional every day, right? About my guidance from him. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for him. I say that all the time. Like, I don't have there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So the walk that I'm on, I try to make sure that I'm doing all of what I need to do on my side so that as he's, you know what I'm saying, making the way, that I can just follow the path. Because it's not me, it's him.
For sure. I fall short every day. You know what I mean? There are sometimes my entertainment can go a little too far.
Yeah.
There are sometimes financial and fiduciary principles and responsibilities may get a lot of way. Kind of get away from the budget sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, we all
do. There are times I may get slick with the tongue. And that person didn't really deserve it on that level.
Yeah.
So we all gonna fall short. I just choose not to stay in that.
Yeah.
I know that he forgives me every day.
Absolutely.
And I'm not too prideful to try and make amends.
Right.
I have fallen out with men and women in my life that I have loved or been really close to. And now, granted, I'm not going to kiss your butt.
Right.
But at the same time, if we're both willing to come to the table, I'm more than willing to have a reasonable conversation.
Yeah.
And let's amend whatever the circumstance is and try and talk through it.
Yeah.
So I'm with that. When I asked you about like, are you there? When it was hard, I mean, it was when it was really hard.
Yeah.
And I ain't asking you to divulge all your business. But
Listen, I done wrote a whole book. The business is out. What would you like to know?
when it was hard and you thought about when it would be better,
Yeah.
are you in the better now? Are
Oh.
you in the season right now?
Yeah. You know, for me, part of who I am, I'm known for my resilience, right? Like
Respectable attribute.
something will happen. I'm going to process it. I'm going to deal with it. I'm gonna pray, meditate, and then I'm on to the next thing. And I've had this shared this before, how I look at it as like when you think about the picture of the heartbeat, right? There's always these times where we're down, right? It goes down, something is bad, something happens, I got divorced, whatever. And then I get back up, right?
Yeah.
The heartbeat is life.
No question.
If it ain't doing this, then we ain't doing it.
The rain falls on the just and the unjust alike.
Listen, now we flatline, then it's done, it's over, it's no more movement. Right? So that's how I approach every day. Like, I'm getting up.
That's good.
It's not, I don't have anything to complain about. Like, my life is good. Now, absolutely, there are some things that could be better, but I'm not going to complain because everything I know that I want to happen, I have to put in the work to do it.
And it could always be worse.
Absolutely.
Even at our lowest,
Absolutely.
there is a space where somebody else in the world has it worse than that.
Absolutely.
Whatever the circumstance
Right.
is. I think about that. I ask you that question and thinking about it for myself. So I'm working in Atlanta. I'm rocking and rolling. I have an evening show in Atlanta, crushing. And I'm feeling good. And you know, when you boast about him, the test comes.
Oh, yeah.
And it intensifies people. The enemy, people think like it says he roams to and fro. I'm going to the book of Job, looking for someone worthy,
Right.
to
Worthy
be tested.
to be
right?
tested.
So sometimes we get tested. We say, God, what did I do? You with me? You gonna get tested just
Right.
by rocking with me.
Right.
However, you got the cheat code. I got you. No matter what the circumstances are, we will overcome.
Yes.
Right? So I got murked in Atlanta. Some people plotted against me. Anyway, it was a whole thing. I said some stuff fine. So I got clipped in Atlanta. And I'm out of work. So I moved back to Charlotte. And I mean, I had it rocking and rolling. I'm doing local TV in Charlotte, radio in Charlotte, national TV, college football out of Charlotte,
Okay.
weekend television and radio in Atlanta. I'm rolling.
you was killing it.
Oh, here we go. Boom, bottom falls out. Back to Charlotte.
Now, I got to
Go ahead.
interrupt you for 1 second, because did the bottom fall out because of you?
So I was doing my job.
Okay.
I did not violate the responsibilities of my job directly.
Okay.
It's one of those where something was perceived, and I understand why, as insensitive, and some folks use that to do the politics thing.
And you got the lesson, though.
Correct.
Okay.
To know me, to be around me, is I don't have a malicious bone in my body.
Right.
That's just not, it don't mean that I won't come off crazy with the mouth. It just means that's not what I'm trying to do. So anyway, lesson learned, cool. There are just certain spaces, no matter how academically you try and navigate, people, So I was on the precipice of cancel culture. And so the lesson, when I start asking again, are you there?
Yeah.
When I was at the lowest low, I'm 16, nearly 18 months out of work. I'm at the lowest low. And NBA All-Star comes to Charlotte. Well, in my line of work, one of the most recognizable faces and voices is Stephen A. Smith. So somebody, while I was up, had put me in touch with Stephen A. I can't call him a friend, but I can get in touch with him on occasion.
Right.
So he says, look, why don't you come by First Take and we'll talk about your situation. So They're in Bank of America Stadium where the Panthers play. First Take has their setup. There's Molly. Max Kellerman was on the show at the time.
Okay.
And Stephen A. comes off the stairs and they're applauding, and I'm sitting in his section and I can touch the First Take desk. In our world, from a sports media standpoint, that's the number one platform at that time in the world. That's the show.
Right.
And I just remember I'm out of work. I don't have an agent. And I don't know if the industry is going to let me back in. And I just remember the Spirit of God touching me, and because I could almost touch the desk.
Right.
And I can see it right now. He says, stay with me. And this platform won't be big enough for you.
Yeah.
So if you would have asked me, Stan, even though I'm blessed to be in market number 4, I'm with the most reputable brand from a radio and media standpoint in the country, in iHeart. I appreciate it. You know, we're working through a contract extension, all things. I'm still not there.
Oh, yeah. It's always more.
The shift is real.
And it's happening when?
Now, listen, but I say that, even if the Lord said to me right now, stand there feeling in Charlotte then, this is what I was talking about. This is it.
Yeah.
This is where I want you. This is where you can do. I'm humble enough now that I can accept that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know why I went that way.
I
that
love
was just
it. Listen, that's what we do on Shift Chat.
Story time with Uncle Stan. I got a million of these. We'll be all day. Go ahead. There's something else you want to ask me.
Okay. If you could host a dinner party with 1 to 3, dead or alive, who and what's one question?
In no order. Barack Obama.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Wow. Barack Obama, Jesus Christ. For a reason that you may not necessarily understand, like Michael Jordan.
Okay. And what's the question?
When the camera's off, when the public can't see, when it's just you, what did it feel like?
Okay. Who's that question to? All of them? Okay. I love that.
See, start with Christ. When it was time to get really real, and we're talking about hours before the crucifixion,
Yeah.
pray 3 times. Take this off of me.
Yeah.
Tears of blood, the Bible says. Now, Mike is Mike.
Yeah.
And we revere him. Now, I'm a LeBron guy. I respect the Mike, but I'm a Bron guy. But when, think about it. For 40 years, when Michael Jordan walked into a room, people clapped. Right? Yeah. I remember, Mike, don't get mad at me for doing this. So I'm in Charlotte working for the team.
Okay.
Michael Jordan is a minority owner. Bob Johnson, first black billionaire on record in the country. We're in Charlotte, and I'm in a room with Bob Johnson, Michael Jordan, and other folks. And a game is going on, and the game ends. You know, Mike is holding court. Nobody does it like him.
Yeah.
And I'm not in all that it's him. I just can't believe I'm there.
Right.
Like, how am I in this room?
You in the room.
So the phone rings. Mike's phone rings. MJ says, cut the music down. And it was his ex-wife. And we knew it was wifey. Hello? Yeah. Hey, hon. Yeah, it's good. Whatever you want to do. Yep. All right. Love you too. Bye. Hangs up. Mike says, y'all cut the music, get back to. I learned something in that moment. Even the great Michael Jordan can't escape humanity. The same trials and the same conflict I have with mine, he has with his. So at some level, he a man just like I'm a man, and we're trying to figure it out.
Right.
And he has had low moments, you know, losing his dad was hard on him and things like that. So, and then of course, Obama, like, bro, the first black president in the history of this country.
Of the world.
When they weren't looking, when you weren't on the campaign trail, when the girls were asleep, looking at Michelle, who gave up some of her career to support you. When you didn't know if you were going to win this thing.
Right.
When people told you were out of your mind, and the death threats and the assassination attempts that we never hear of.
Right.
When it was real, how did it feel?
Wow.
Yeah. Steve, I'm fascinated with people's stories.
I love it. I love your story. Okay, one last question. One piece of advice related to healing and or business that you can share with the shifters.
Healing and or business. The business one that comes to mind is like, and it's going to sound like I'm being duplicitous. Stay with the rivers and streams you're used to. Stan, I got a great idea. We're going to start a sneaker brand.
Okay.
I don't know damn thing about sneakers. Like,
Right.
I don't even get on the apps and order my own sneakers.
Right.
It's going to sound like I have somebody. I ask people to help me. Size 14.
I've been a part of that.
Find me something. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Stan, hey, there's a sports bar concept. Okay. Hey, Stan, we're thinking about representing athletes. Okay. I stay in the...
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm of the Warren Buffett mentality. The slow down. Or what is the fast down, slow down?
Right, we're not rushing, yeah.
Yeah, so like I invest in brands. Coca-Cola not going nowhere. You understand? All right, JP Morgan Chase not going anywhere.
Right.
Apple, and like there's just certain brand. Nike's not going anywhere.
Right.
So from an investment standpoint, I go there. So some people say you diversify, you take a whole bunch of risk, and there are those that do that.
Right.
For my comfortability, I take very little risk. I'm willing to play the long game. Now, I'm unmarried with no children, no student loan. Like, you would think I can afford to take more risk, but I don't. I'm very calculated, and I should say, like, I'm very patient.
Yeah, but you do what works for you, and that's
sure.
the whole idea.
Healing is kind of like I said before. Be real with you. You can't lie to him. He sees the whole thing. He knows what's real. So you might as well come clean and talk to him and just keep it a buck, put it all out there, and be willing to accept what he gives you back.
Right. Yeah, that's
when
powerful.
He told me, Stan, you are not going to play professional ball. It's a wrap. It was over before it started. When they carted me out of what is now NRG Stadium, when it was Reliant, and I played my last game, and they had me in the ambulance, and they were talking about amputating my leg, I'm looking out of the back of the ambulance, and the lights from the stadium, you can see it's coming out, and I promise I'm not making this up. The back of the stadium, the doors slide closed. And I heard him say to me, this chapter as a player is over.
Right.
I'm going to give you something else that led me here.
He always does.
That's him. But that's the healing. Oh, I was bitter as hell. I couldn't play no more. I dedicated my life to this.
Yeah.
I got square footage from mama. I got to ball out. My boys like going to the DR. I got to take my guys. I got more Breitlands to buy. I got Bugattis to get. I'm trying to get to this money.
Right.
Ooh, the humility. Bitter.
So how do you feel like you graduated from the bitterness? Transitioned?
I just had this conversation with an employee of the Texans on the way over to do this. Greg Grissom is currently the president of the Texans right now. Well, he wasn't always the big dog. And he said something to me when I got back on my feet from the surgeries. I started interning for the Texans. They brought me and they were like, look, yeah, you can do that, but you have something else. Upstairs, there's a different game going on. Learn the business of football.
Right.
And so Greg Grissom said to me, he said, Stan, God gave you some other tools that he didn't give the rest of those men down there. Come start cultivating that and see where it takes you. So prior to doing 13 years in sports media, I have a decade worth of sales and business development experience, NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, Southeastern Conference. So that's what got me into this.
Yeah.
So when you say like, how did you deal with the bitterness and how did I get over it? I heard him tell me there was something else. It's not as gratifying, but when you humble yourself for what the mission is, you become as excited about it.
Yeah.
My passion is there for what he's called me to do.
Yeah, because you had that whole plan for being a football.
Oh my God, I was gonna retire,
and he was like,
teach and coach, and I had this whole thing, and he was like, "No, bro,
no, that
we're
ain't what
gonna
we're
do
doing.
something else."
Yeah, I love that for you. Well, do you have anything else that you want to share with the shifters? Any other topics you feel like, because you be trying to take over, so.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
Oh.
It's okay.
But I appreciate you inviting me on. I support you. And to the shifters, keep grinding, keep going. In him, nothing is impossible. Nothing. And I think all of us, are testimonies that when you didn't think, I've done so many things I never thought.
Right.
We just have to be humble and be mindful. And faith without works is dead. You got to go do the work now.
Say it again.
You got to go do the work, no question. A young person, I'll end with this. A young person asked me, Stan, how can I get in the business? You know all these people, Stephen A. and these coaches and GMs. I want to get in the business. I always ask them, why? I'm purpose driven. I can do other things with this and make more money.
Right.
I'm purpose driven and the money comes, right?
Yeah.
The compensation, better word, the compensation comes.
Yes.
So what do you want to do this for? What's your why?
Right.
And then secondly, I go, look, who you know gets you in. What you do keeps you there.
Right.
Hard work doesn't guarantee that you get the gig. Not working hard guarantees that you will not
get another one.
the gig. Or get another one to your point. All right, that's it. I'm done.
Yes. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Remember, the shift is happening now.